Good morning. I'm Chris Brennan, Wholesale Marketing Rep for Sprague Energy. Welcome to Sprague's Refined Products Review, where we discuss what's moving the market, giving you insight into what we're seeing every day. Today is Wednesday, June 18th. The big market news is, of course, the Israel-Iran conflict. As we go to press, the U.S. has expressed its support for Israel, but is remaining out of direct conflict, for now. The news is focused on the back-and-forth attacks and the retaliation of the conflict. In these types of larger global conflicts, the biggest price risks are direct impacts on oil infrastructure and production. And infrastructure on both sides has been impacted so far. For reference, Iran is the third largest producer in OPEC at 3.3 million barrels per day and 1.7 million barrels per day exports, mostly to China due to sanctions. The Straits of Hormuz carries about 20% or 20 million barrels per day of global crude supply. If Iran somehow closes this shipping lane, we can expect the cost of crude to rise significantly. Iran may lack the naval firepower to effectively close the Strait of Hormuz, but that doesn't mean they won't make it difficult. The last time the strait was actually closed, we have to go all the way back to the 1970s original OPEC oil embargo. Of note, the strait was not closed for the Iran-Iraq War of the 1980s, the Gulf War of the 90s, or any other time, including the recent Houthi attacks from Yemen. With all the issues in this part of the world for decades, why has shipping through this choke point been allowed to continue through these conflicts? Most people believe that this is because Iran derives most of their revenue from the sale of crude oil on the global market, so a shutdown does not seem in their own best self-interest. However, with the real threat of Iranian oil export infrastructure being shut down by Israel's attacks, they will have nothing to lose. We will be watching this and other supply and oil infrastructure developments closely. In regard to pricing increases and war premium, it is interesting to note that in the 1990 Gulf War, there was initially a brief spike in crude prices when Iraq invaded Kuwait on August 2, 1990. The major sustained price increase did not begin until August 4th, as Iraqi-Kuwaiti crude exports at 4.5 million barrels per day were banned and taken out of the market by the UN embargo. Prices increased through October 1990. When the U.S. began Operation Desert Storm in January 1991, prices eventually dropped $20 per barrel and went back to almost pre-war levels as supply came back to the market, completing the round trip to normal pricing in under 10 months. While this is an oversimplification of the situation and geopolitical and crude oil production conditions are vastly different now, one thing remains constant: supply dictates price. So plan accordingly. In news closer to home, we are only a few weeks away from the new bio-mandates in the New England states, as Connecticut and New York are going from B5 to B10, and Rhode Island is going from B10 to B20. We have been busy preparing at all the Sprague terminals in our network for the changeover, and we don't expect any issues from a terminal operations standpoint. As a reminder, all Sprague forward contracts entered into in advance of the season will be for on-spec bio-blending for your particular state. There is no need to worry about any upcoming July 1st mandated blend if you are locking in a contract with us now. For those of you who are dragging out your magic 8-ball, lucky rabbit's foot, and crystal ball, my only guidance is to be prepared. Caution is advised. Prices will continue to be volatile as the global situation is. Please call your friendly wholesale rep if you'd like to discuss. Be sure to mark your calendars for our next special feature, a tour of our Newington terminal, releasing Friday, June 27th. That's all for today. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next Wednesday with another Refined Products Review. Refine your insight. Fuel your success.
Put nothing in it.
Maybe that only makes it to the bloopers.
No, I think I'm gonna put that in.
Put that in.